Alright. I want to do a video on something that happened to me personally a couple weeks ago at church, and it's been on my mind the last couple weeks, and I think there's a lot of applications to it. It's kind of a crazy story, but I think there's a lot of applications to the church today. So to get into the intro of this is I got to give you a little background about myself, what I do for a living. I'm a reseller. I sell on different platforms. I go and I buy and I sell. I go to garage sales, auctions, estates. I buy out collections, that sort of thing. So and I give you that background because I was at an event on a Friday, and this was again a couple weeks ago. I went to a church sale, and so I'm waiting in line at the church sale, and the pastor comes out while we're waiting in line. And says, I'm so-and-so, I'm the pastor. I want to let you know this is a house of God, and so to treat everyone respectfully and just be nice and be aware of that. So, which was fine. I was okay. So, we get in there, and I'm going through, and so the pastor is the main guy running the show here, and I'm looking around, and I go into. They had a room separated. He mentioned there was a room separated where it was more their high-end stuff or their collectibles. So I go in there, and I'm looking around, and then. Keep in mind, this is all stuff that's priced individually. It's intentionally marked. It's intentionally placed. And I see, what do I see in the corner up there is a Ouija board. And I'm like, it's a, I don't know if it was a Presbyterian church. I'm not sure the denomination. It was in, Elk Grove Village, Illinois, actually. I forget I should look up the name, actually. I can find it for you right now. Sorry. It was not a Catholic church, but... All right, it was St. Nicholas Episcopal Church in Elk Grove Village. Okay, so, and I don't have a problem. I thought about whether I should say that or not, but I really don't have a problem because the people, if someone eventually gets to see this video that's a member of this church, you should be warned of what if the person leading your church is not taking this stuff seriously. So it's a Ouija board for sale. So I wait until the room kind of clears out a little bit, and I go to the pastor and I say, hey, that Ouija board you're selling probably not something you should sell, and I wasn't sure at this point if he even knew what it was, but after talking to him a little bit, it was very apparent that he did. He said, maybe you're right, maybe this is not appropriate at a church sale, and at that point I'm thinking, okay, he's gonna take it and throw it out or get rid of it or do whatever, but then he says, maybe I should sell it on Facebook Marketplace, and I was like, no, I think you should destroy it. You should get rid of that thing. It shouldn't be in here, and so. I end up leaving, and I pass the story on to some brothers that are we're on a separate chat, believers, and one of them had called me and gave me a really good idea of how to handle it. So I went back. I was only about a mile away. I went back. I went to the pastor, and I should mention too, there was another woman in the room, an older woman who was a volunteer, so I'm assuming a member at the church, and it was a small room. So when I had that first initial conversation with the pastor, she would overheard everything, right? So I went back into the room and I said, hey, I got a proposition for you. I don't care whatever you have it priced for. I'll give you half if you can give that to me and we can destroy it and throw it out in your trash. And the hope there is that would convict him enough to go, what am I doing? And he would say, take it for free, and let's get rid of it together. And that's what I thought would happen, but that's not what happened. He kind of hesitated, and since I negotiate back and forth with a lot of people, I was stunned because I could tell he was in his negotiating mode. Like, he was thinking about, half price wasn't enough. I didn't even know what he had it priced at. It was a vintage Ouija board, whatever. I have no idea what they're worth. But so I just offered that sight unseen. But as soon as I said that woman that was in the room, I could tell she was uncomfortable. She went and grabbed it. You don't see this happen. I've done a million of these things. She grabbed it and she brought it over there. Because I told him I wanted, we're gonna destroy this thing, and so I could tell she grabbed it. She was uncomfortable. She wanted it out of there. I could tell, and so I'm thankful for that. I hope that was something that woke her up a little bit as to what's going on at her church. But I could tell he was in negotiation mode, so that frustrated me. I was stunned. I'm like, okay, that didn't convict you enough to destroy this thing. So, and this is not a business transaction. I could care less about the money, anything. I wanted that thing. I'm thinking I have 2 young kids, and I don't want that thing. That stuff's real. If we go to Ephesians 6, verse 10, I'll read a few verses here, because it's a spiritual fight we're having, people. This stuff's real. So it says, finally be strong in the Lord and the strength of his might. Put on the whole armor of God that you may be that you may be able to stand against the schemes of the devil. For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against the rulers, against the authorities, against the cosmic powers over this present darkness, against the spiritual forces of evil in the heavenly places. Therefore take up the whole armor of God, that you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand firm. So it's Paul in Ephesians telling us this is a spiritual war that we're having, right? So this stuff is real. This is not just a game. It's not a joke. I have kids. I wouldn't want this to fall into someone's hands and to get into someone's house where the kids go, oh, look, it's a game, and they end up playing it. I mean, this stuff's real. You talk to people that have messed with this stuff, and it's legit. And the point of my video right now is going to be that that today's church just kind of laughs this stuff off. We read in the Bible time and time again about demonic possession, influence, all this stuff, time and time again. And I think today's church is like, yeah, that happened then, but they're gone now. No. These demons are actually, if you want to go back to their origins, these are the dead. When the Nephilim, when the fallen angels came down, had relations with women and had children and begat Nephilim and the giants, they died. Their spirits that are still out there in the world. These are the spirits that are out there, the dead, fallen angels' offspring, right? And so they haven't gone anywhere. And they were there in Yeshua's time, in Jesus' time, and they're still there now. So this is serious stuff. And on a side note, I say Yeshua and Jesus. I think there's a lot of people out there. If you're new, if you haven't seen any of my videos, I do say Yeshua as his name, because that would have been his actual name when he was walking around. It would have been better translated to Joshua. But if you say Jesus, I know who you're talking about. And I know there's a subset of there's an army of parrots that would get very angry at that. But I'm not mad at you if you say Jesus. I say Yeshua. So that's a little side note there on that. So this is a serious thing. So what happened after that? The pastor's in negotiation mode, and I'm just frustrated. I look and he's got $32 on it. So I just get my wallet out. I put 40 on. It's not a business trade. I didn't want change. I'm not doing it. I'm like, this is making a point. Here, take you want your money so bad that you're willing to sell satanic wares in the what you said, the house of God. Then take it. Let that be your God. If this doesn't convict you enough to destroy the thing, let that be your God. And I said, I don't want the change. And he said, God bless you. And at this point, my arm, I'm shaking. I'm angry. And if you don't think that Yeshua would have came in there and flipped the tables, he would have, right? This is you call it the house of God, and you're selling demonic, satanic things in the house of God. I'm angry thinking about it right now, and it's been weeks. So I'm gonna have a connection to the church in a second here. I'll give you the rest of the story. I left with a thing, and I know I mentioned this comment on Twitter, and a lot of people said you should have burned it. And you know what? I would have loved to have burned it. That would have been great. The problem was I'm 45 minutes away from my house. I don't want this thing in the car with me. I got no place to. First of all, I got no place to burn it really in my house, and I got no place to burn it in the city of Elk Grove Village where I was at. So I did what the best I could. I opened the box, the cardboard. I ripped it to pieces. I took the actual board itself, smashed it over my leg, and people saw this. I'm out in front of the church doing this. Probably look like a crazy person. Maybe I am a crazy person, and I throw it out. So, and I throw it in there because they had a dumpster. They had a little whatever right out front on the road there. So, and again, I hope people saw this. I hope that woman in that room, I pray that she was able to see this, and I hope I'm sure the story spread to people at the church, and I think if somehow this pastor ever were to see this video, I hope you would stop and pray and repent and actually take this stuff seriously, because you are messing with bad things, and you're bringing it into you call it the house of God. Yeah, the house of God, they're not selling satanic wares, and so where I'm going to make the connection to this now is with the church today, thinking all this stuff it's haha, they laugh it off, they don't take any of this serious, and so I'm going to go right to Halloween, right? Halloween. Go look at the origins of Halloween. It's one of the most satanic, demonic days of the year. The night before is like the Devil's Night. It's when a bunch of witchcraft is being done and going after people. Right? So what has the church done? Find me churches that aren't celebrating Halloween, that the pastor isn't sending their kids out into the stuff, and it's harmless, right? Oh, it's harmless. It's like the enemy is not going to come and look like completely evil like the movies would have it. It's going to come. It's going to look good. It's going to be light and friendly. How do you think that the greatest liar that is going to get to you? It's going to give you it with cinnamon and gravy. Here, come look at this. Let's do this. This will be fun. And let's dress up. It's just candy. It's just dress up. It's what you're doing is you're taking the pagans' holy days, that are practicing witchcraft, and you're saying, let's participate a little bit. We're not going to do this stuff and this stuff and this stuff, and let's just do a little bit. It's for the kids. It's fun. And that's not what we're supposed to be doing. So, like, if you look at 1 Corinthians 10, starting in verse 20, I imply that what pagan sacrifice they offer to demons and not to God. I do not want you to be participants with demons. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of demons. You cannot partake of the table, Lord, and the table of demons. Shall we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than him? You're going to provoke him to jealousy. I mean, this is dumb. It's really dumb. And I mean, how can we not get? I mean, I get frustrated because how does the church not see it? How do they think it's okay? And they're doing it. Of course, the enemy's going to go after the kids. You get the kids early, they're going to teach their kids. They're going to teach their kids. It's going to keep going on down the line until me as a father, I look like a crazy person because I don't want my kids doing it, and so we don't do it, right? And now I look like some of my friends and family, they go, oh, he's such a mean father. He doesn't want his kids to have fun. And my kids are awesome. They get so much fun. They love their life. They don't need this. They don't need this. And I'm going to teach them the right way. And I don't care what it looks like to anybody else. But I would urge you, if you're a believer, to actually look into this, look into the origins of it. What the church should be doing instead of participating and saying, hey, let's have a day, a trunk or treat, and we'll invite the neighborhood and we'll try to win them over to Jesus, right? And it's like, no, all you're doing is you're teaching them that it's okay. And what you should be doing, since it's spiritual warfare, is you should be having a 24-hour on the clock, get people to sign up in 15-minute shifts and praying, so you got 24 hours of prayer happening against the witchcraft that's happening on those days. But they won't do it. Cowards. Shame on them. So if you're listening to this and it's convicted you a little bit, that's good. Because going from lukewarm to, we need to get out of that. Like right now, the lukewarm church is throwing their hands up, and this stuff is not a big deal. And I'm telling you right now, the enemy's going after you, whether you know it or not, and whether you're going to sit there and take it or not. Are you going to stand up and fight, or you're going to lay down and just say, it's okay, let's partake in a cup of demons with the rest of the world, right? Yeah, that's what it is. Look into it. And if you get that far, start looking into Christmas and Easter. That's for another video. Look at the origins of that. These things aren't in the Bible. God actually has feast days for us. And if you look at them, they're not a burden. They're a blessing. Man, it's frustrating. So I want you to think about this. Like, we are not to mingle with this stuff at all. And it's not a joke. It's not lightweight. It's not just for fun. It's serious stuff. And it's you and your kids on the line for this stuff, and we're supposed to be battling. So put on the armor of God, guys. Thanks.